What's up, guys? Welcome back to Thug Life Gaming. I'm your host, Matt Rogers, and you're watching the video review for Yooka-Laylee. From the very start, you'll be hit with a healthy dosage of nostalgia. The simple texturing in regards to the character and environmental design transport the player back to a time when your gaming experience was much more simple. However, Playtonic Games takes advantage of this by expanding each of the 5 worlds in scale at a steady 1080p 30 frames per second, exploring a mystical dreamland, spooky marshes, or the mini-games in Capital's Casino consistently kept me curious as to what type of mischief was next on my to-do list. Now, that isn't to say that the art direction didn't have any rough spots. Perhaps the most noteworthy is the gibberish dialogue. I understand its reference to classics like Banjo-Kazooie, and I personally think it does serve a type of educational purpose in regards to making the act of reading fun for the younger generation. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that it could have been improved upon by making the in-game cutscenes a tad bit more complex. When comparing Yooka-Laylee to its predecessors, one may be taken back by how familiar it feels. Colorful environments, catchy music, and quirky characters all create the same sense of imagination associated with your typical platformer, but I would make the argument that Yooka-Laylee succeeds in differentiating itself as a separate universe. Take, for example, the sheer amount of gameplay features. I had loads of fun beating each of the high scores at Rextro's arcade, and although it was occasionally annoying, even the Cardos mini-games provided a pretty significant challenge to continue your game progress. On top of that, there's a number of combat abilities that are really quite fitting to the fact that you're playing as a chameleon and a bat. As you learn these abilities throughout your experience, they may or may not alter the way you go about tackling a specific world. This creates an interesting game dynamic because previous locations thought to be unobtainable soon become the next stepping stone towards reaching 100% of your collectibles. By the time you've reached world number 2, the player base for this game typically divides into 2 separate factions. On one side, you have a number of gamers who enjoy exploring each of the set pieces, but really just want to secure a finish to Yooka-Laylee's innocent fun. On the other hand, you have what are essentially completionists. Now, with over 36 hours of gameplay, 35 achievements, and 1,000 gamer score, I'll let you predict which of these categories I may or may not belong to. I do have to be honest though. After defeating Capital B, I realized that there isn't much of an end game. It does have local-based multiplayer, but I don't see these mini-games maintaining a big enough audience to accomplish any sort of relevance. Playtonic has confirmed that they are working on future DLC, but for now, there's a number of things that I think really would have spiced things up at launch. This includes a possible time trials playlist friendly to speedrunners, or maybe even just an online leaderboard for Rextro's arcade. The best thing Yooka-Laylee has going for it is nostalgia. Vibrant worlds and fun characters reminds the average player of how much we love classic platformers, but you can have too much of a good thing. The gibberish dialogue does become annoying, but it somehow manages to at times be acceptable by implementing a number of pop culture references and the occasional bits of adult humor. Now, make no mistake about it, 100% of your game progress is based off of collectibles, which in theory sounds boring, but in reality takes advantage of a lot of gameplay features that make exploring each of the 5 worlds and winning your occasional boss fight loads of fun. Although I did run into a huge problem after defeating Capital B when realizing there's absolutely no end game. However, considering the fact that I spent over 36 hours to complete it, in comparison to your average 8-hour campaign, that's pretty impressive. This game has so much to offer, and by now, Playtonic Games is well aware of a few easy-to-fix issues, but I think it's safe to say that this Green Chameleon and Purple Bat have achieved the title of spiritual successor. Yooka-Laylee is a Kickstarter triumph and receives an 8.0 here on Thug Life Gaming.